Hey everyone, this is Rob from Waxadis Music and welcome to today's little tutorial on how to make a very simple new disco record. Now recently I heard a track by a guy called Mark Lower on Nervous New York Records and he made a track called Retro Futurism. And basically I heard that and thought, oh my god, how simple is that? How simple but effective is that? Now over the years when I do tracks, I do new disco tracks, I usually tend to sometimes overcomplicate things. And just listening to that track the other day just made me realise, step back and go, hold on a minute, let's just simplify it here, let's just bring it down a notch. So I've made a track very similar to his production. The track that he's made is that one there. It's there it is, Mark Lower, Retro Futurism. Came out a month ago maybe. And if you want to go and listen to that and have a listen to the similarities. And I just took that idea and I thought I'm going to turn that into a tutorial, so to speak. Without completely copying his track, but I've taken the similar elements. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a short track. I mean, that track there is only 3.5 minutes long. It's not a full club track, so it's straight to the point. So a very simple little loop. But we're going to do loads of little filtering and stuff to make it. So I've taken his idea and I've turned it into my own sort of track. I've not copied it completely, but I've taken very similar aspects from it and I'm going to put it into a tutorial now. So what we need to do is, all we're using this is from the drum rack, I've used an Oberheim kick drum and a clap. And I've put some delay on that clap. If you look at the clap, it's got a delay on it of around 30%, 31% on there, 30%, and 50% on the feedback. So it's, let's have a look. So it's just assigned to that one kick. And all that is just a straightforward clap and kick. And there's the claps halfway through each bar. And that's all that is. Straight in there. And then what I did was I put in a second kick on there just to give it a real pound. So I got the start kit from within Ableton, and that's got this like boomy sort of. Let's take that off. It just fills it out. Take it off. Flat. Now booming up. Let's turn that down. I don't know why that's so loud. Okay. Okay, and it goes. So that's quite, straightforward, so simple. And then I got some hats, and I can't remember where I got these from. Let's have a look at these. These are the late night kit within Ableton. So it's just a simple and a snare, proper 80s snare, and on the snare we've got a reverb, which is at 30%. And it's just a standard reverb. I think that is, yeah. And that's it. Put the kicks on. Put the heavy kick on. You can put any kind of heavy kick on. It doesn't really matter. But that's the one I use anyway, just to thicken it out. Now then, next up, I went through a bass and I've got the monopoly. And what I've done was I took this preset. You can use any kind of preset, it doesn't really matter as long as it's kind of resonant-y. And it's called the New Age Bass. And this is very electro. And it's got when you actually get it on, it's got the effects cross delay on it. You could leave that on, but I prefer to just take that off. And I've done 2 octaves. Like that, so the bass line goes like this. Just get it in the patterns, you can see. And there we are. Just from 1 to the other. So let's go down octave. Straight in. Just all the way like that. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Let's just take that off. Straight up, straight up. So already you're getting that kind of early 80s sort of vibe already. And then what I got was a arpeggiated little riff, and all I did was I got the PGA-X up, and I got a sound in there called the Analog Brass. And this is from a producer called the Lucas Collection PGA-X Bank. And if you Google that, I'm pretty sure you can find it. And that's got a load of presets in that some guys designed. And within that is called the Analog Brass one. And that's just this. Let's just get this right. Take off the cut off. And that's all it is. And all I've done is I've put in, and I'm just turning the arp off. It's just a standard analog brass. It's really, you can get that on any synth. So I put in a C major walk, 16th grooved arpeggiator, pinky up down, rate it 116, 50% on the gate, which I think it automatically does anyway. And I've just done 3 octaves on the A's, on A1, A2, A3, A3, A4, whatever. And then I'm going to cut it out. So you've got this. So that's that. That's it. That's just the track all the way through like that. But we're going to filter it. And then I've got the lead stabs, which come from the infamous Tyrell. And I've selected the Boogie Bass preset in, let me show you, go into here, Boogie Bass 2, open that up, turn up your cutoff, turn it to poly, and then you've got, and go up the octave, and modulate the wheel. And that's all I've done with that, and I've got a bit of a filter on here, so it's why it's a bit down. And we're going to filter that up as well as we get into the track. So imagine the track's playing. And it's just a really simple, effective track. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick arrangement, and I'm going to show you the basics of how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to group all my drums. Let's have a look at this. Where's my group? Group tracks. And on that group, I am going to add down here a filter, an auto filter, okay? And I'm going to change it to a high pass filter and bring it about there so that it goes like this. Like that. So we've got all of them on the same filter, and we don't have to do it individually and blah, blah. So what we're going to do with that then is we'll open that up so we can still copy and paste them over. I'm just going to get rid of that little bit of intro there. And then we've got all the drum sounds. Just copy them over like that. Put them there like that. And then on the group, on the filter, what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and we're going to go to automation mode so we can see it. Auto filter, filter type, frequency, and then on there we're just going to draw in a dot there and a dot there. Put it about there, and then it's going to come down here, right down here, so that the kick comes in. Here, sorry, where am I talking about? There. And then what we're going to do, that's going to do that in. It's probably a bit too high, that. Let's just pull that down a bit. That's better. And then we're going to take, on these, we're going to take out the claps. We'll do them later. So we don't want it all coming straight away. So we'll take them out of there and out of that one. Probably leave those on the last bit so that it combines with the kick drum when it all comes over. Put them there like that so that now the filter will be out of play. And we'll get the bass line, and we'll put that in as well like this. I'm just going to combine those two. Put that over. And then throw that over like that. So it goes like this. Oh, sorry. My way. But we need to filter the bass as well. So we'll get a filter on the bass. We don't have to, but I think it will sound a lot more effective if we give the bass a little filter. We don't want to use the cutoff on the actual monopoly synth itself. We'll use this so that it stays separate. So let's have a look at this. Click, click. Back there probably, and then right to the top. So what we're going to do with this riff, we're going to bring this riff in. So what we'll do is we're going to open it up, click on the little thing there, the little arrow, click configure, and click cut off there, and click resonance there as well. Okay, so we've now configured those so we can draw them in or whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to do that so that I can click that and select frequency, and then we're going to have a low frequency for the cutoff, like that, and then we'll copy that over, and it just goes like that. Okay, so we've got that in there. Let's copy that over again, and then here we're going to put in the lead stabs. So I've put some delay on there, and we've got the Tyrell here with the boogie bass, and and the chord is just A minor 7, G, A, C, and E. But what I've done is this first bit is D sustain 2, I think, which is G, A, C, D. So you go like this, and then you pitch bend you bend the modulation, and then you stab from the D to the E. So you play the same chord, but you go G, A, C, D to G, A, C, E. So the last note comes in as the E. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is we've got this rhythm. So that's that. I think I made a bit of a bum note on that one. I think I did. I missed one out there. So I'm going to just quickly quantize those and pull that down to the right. That's right. That's okay. That's okay. So that's cool. So what we're going to do with that is, again, we're going to filter that. So let's just get the auto filter on that, because if you listen to the Mark Lower track, which I'm inspired by, you'll hear that he filters this down. Probably a little bit higher. Let's open that up. Make that back. And then we'll open that up. We'll filter, copy that over again, and put that up there like that, and start to bring that up, and then put that across. Take everything over except just take the hi-hats, and what we'll do with the hats and the snare is we will filter that as well. So let's get the filter of that. Sorry, on there, on the group. That is there. So yeah, that one. Open that up, frequency, and then we're going to rise the frequency here to about here, because it's going to be building up that sort of thing there. Copy the bass over. Keep the filter going up. And let's have a look. And then we're going to drop it back down again. So we'll get another filter that we did earlier and drop it right down, look, so that it goes back to like that. We've got the stabs in and those, and then we need the beats. Put them in and put one of them in like that. And then the bass line. Let's just see how that goes. Let's just have a look at that. That bass sounds a little bit flat. You could do with a bit of reverb on there, couldn't it? Let me just stick a reverb on of some sort. Or maybe a delay. I don't know. Maybe a really small amount of delay. Just a little bit. 20 and 20, I'd say. Put it on 4. That's better. Yeah, it gives it a bit of character now. And we forgot to put in the kick drums with the same frequency. So click that, just pull that there, do that, go right up with that, and right down with that. There we go. Right, my bad. And what you could do, and then it comes back around again. And that's basically all the track does throughout. It's only 3.5 minutes long, the Mark Lower version, which is really cool. I just love the way he's just put it together in such a simple manner. And he's not really put loads of clever trickery in there. It's just filters and a few simple sounds. But what you could do is make this a little bit more, this is what I would do. This is my problem. I always end up getting carried away and getting lost in my own little world and start noodling. And I'm obsessed with noodling, basically. And basically, I would probably go off and do some sort of riffs now. And then just go. And so on, and that's it, and then it would just go back round again, and it would build up and come back round. And then you could get, let me go into my samples, wherever they may be, desktop. Let me look for my samples, drum hits, not drum hits. I've got some samples in there that are verb things or something. Where are the trance samples in here? Actually, these hits. These. Where are they? You could put something like that and just drop it down here. And I know it sounds really out there, but trust me, just because it's a trance sample doesn't mean it ain't worthy. There's a lot of good trance effects out there. All right, and then you could put that in. Let's just knock the volume down slightly a bit on it, just for the purposes of this. Just give it an atmosphere. And so on. So that's it. That's basically all I'm going to do with that. I'm just going to show you a basically simple and effective way to make a funky, like, you know, old school new disco track, so to speak. So just get a few very simple drum beats. Very, very simple. Very simple. Little bass line, flat notes, arpeggiated riff, stabs, very simple. And that's it. That's all I've got to offer you with that one. So go ahead and try those techniques and make something simple yourself, you know, rather than trying to overload things by putting loads of stuff in and having a massive chord arrangement. That's all good. It's always great. But sometimes it's good to just strip back the layers and just put out something straight. 4 or 5 tracks, 6, 7 tracks at the most on your arrangement. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all my other videos. Thank you, and don't forget to leave a comment in the box also. Thank you and goodbye.